CJ here, your favorite scuba diver with Deep South Divers. The first thing we're going to do is inspect the dock's only piling. It's about 20 feet deep at the very bottom. You can see everything's intact, no significant damage. So we're going to move over to the floating dock's C-Flex system. This is a really unique system for mooring a dock. For lack of better terminology, that's just a big series of bungees that are connected to the bottom of the dock. And they cross over each other and then go down to the very bottom where they're held in with screw anchors. These are helical anchors. We'll go back up C-Flex number 1. You can see there's still plenty of tension on that line. The anchor has not moved. And we'll check out where it connects to the bottom of that floating dock. Alright, I give 2 fingers there, meaning this is C-Flex number 2. That's the connection point at the bottom of the dock. You can see everything is really overgrown with barnacles and oysters and lots of soft corals. So it's really not possible to see any of the hardware, including the C-Flex bungees themselves. Silt and sediment covers everything. But by hand you can definitely tell when there's tension on that line. I'm diving this at low tide, so the bungees are actually more relaxed than they would be otherwise. I'll get down to the bottom here. That is the very top of an anchor system. We'll go back up, C-Flex number 2. And then we'll move down the dock and repeat the process for 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and 7 and 8. Everything's still under tension. No significant issues. See right there, that's where where 1 and 2 cross each other. Alright, so here's C-Flex number 3. The connection point at the bottom of the dock looks great. Three and 4 cross over each other and cruise down the line here. Everything's still under tension. That right there is a pulley system that actually helps to create the tension. Just to my right there was an old piling still sticking out of the ground but not breaking the water surface. You can see here I can't even see the anchor. Those bungees go straight into the ground, but it's all covered over with silt and sediment. So we'll cruise back up here. There's that piling again, that lone piling. Sticks off the ground, but it doesn't break the water surface, doesn't come anywhere close to the surface, so we've left it. It crosses over the other one there. Alright, let's inspect number 4. Connection point to the bottom of the dock looks very solid. Cross under 3. Pretty much everything in the water gets covered in this type of growth here in this area. It's a very biologically diverse, very healthy ecosystem. Alright, and there's the anchor. This one's actually sticking out of the ground a little bit. I'll show you the top of it there. There you go. Like a 1.5 by 1.5 solid steel pole that sticks down to the ground. We'll cruise back up the C-Flex or the bungee, whatever you want to call it. Every once in a while I'm finding these cables and lines and stuff that are sort of hanging off. There's a tensioning pulley. Those cables and lines, I was concerned that those were broken cords, broken bungees, or broken C-Flex. And in fact, they're not. They're just used for adjusting during the installation process. There's another one hanging down. All right, that's number 5. The connection point with the bottom of the dock. Nice and solid, completely overgrown. You can't see anything, but of course I can feel it. I can tell that it's definitely solid. So I'll cruise down that bungee, that C-Flex. Crosses over the other one. Crosses over number 6. And there's the pulley right there. Should I move around a little bit? That's a tensioning pulley used in the installation process. Solid and still under tension. I'm trying to wave some of the stuff away so that you can see. The visibility was not bad, but as soon as I touched any of this stuff, it just clouded up the water real bad. It's very difficult to see. So I'll continue cruising down that bungee. And eventually it is connected to the bottom via that anchor. The anchor is what they call a helical anchor. It's like a corkscrew. It screws into the ground. Nice and solid, hasn't gone anywhere. It's actually pretty impressive that it hasn't gone anywhere. Hurricane Matthew was pretty much dead hit this area, and it was a Category 2 when it hit this area, but it did a lot of damage to a lot of boats and a lot of docks in the area. And the fact that this dock survived is pretty impressive. The storm surge actually drove waves up much higher than normal, and it completely submerged this floating dock, meaning that the C-Flex was under all of the tension that it could possibly handle. Here we go, here's number 6. And it did not pull out those anchors, it did not break any of these lines. The pulleys held, the anchors held, all of the hardware attachment points all held. That right there is the connection point to the bottom of the dock. The dock actually, the deck of it began to disintegrate. It was submerged with this stuff under 100% of the tension, right? So the deck began to disintegrate, and there were places in the dock that were broken. There's that adjustment pulley on this particular one. Completely filthy and totally encrusted, very fouled, but working and in good shape. Anyway, so yeah, the dock began to disintegrate, and there was quite a bit of damage to the dock, but underneath, everything's still solid. It has held up very well. There's that anchor. You can actually see that that pole sticking up, that square steel sticking up, and that is what the C-Flex is attached to. I'm going to check it for tension, check it, see if it moves at all. It hasn't moved. This particular dock is a pretty enormous dock, held in by 8 of these anchors. And they do this because the dock is used for sculls. It's a type of rowboat where a bunch of people sit in a long, skinny rowboat, and if you have pilings, they tend to be in the way, and people tend to, you know, when they're picking their boats up, moving them around and everything, they do them by hand. It's almost like a canoe, but everybody sits backwards. Here's number 7. Anyway, they didn't want pilings because the pilings would be in the way of them moving the boats around. Thus, they took this, they used this system of bungees literally screwed into the seabed to hold this dock in place. It's unusual in our area and not particularly favored by the dock builders. But it seems to have held up, at least underneath, other than being fouled. Cruise down to the bottom of this one. Now here I see some junk off to the side, and I'm wondering if that's pieces of the dock or the anchoring system. That's actually a lens, a Fresnel lens from a light that's broken, so unaffiliated. Oh, everything's solid. There's just some stuff sitting on the bottom. I just want to make sure that it's not part of the hardware that holds that dock in place, and it's not. So we'll cruise on up here, back up that same line. And it crosses over its opposing anchor, just like each of the 4 sets do. There's little baby shrimp everywhere. See them all scattering about. That hanging line there is that's an adjustment line used during the installation, and this is anchor system number 8, or the second part of number 4, the group of 4, if that's how you want to call it. That's the attachment point on the bottom of the dock. And we go down the line here. We should find an adjustment pulley. And we do. Right there. Looking good. And there's the C-Flex, the bungees. And we'll cruise down, check those out. There's your anchoring point. Looking good, everything 100%, fouled, but 100%, and looking great, safe, pretty happy with it overall. I can give this whole system a thumbs up for surviving Hurricane Matthew. There's your crossover. And you see, if you go back, that was the lines sometimes rub against each other, which makes them clean in one particular spot. There's an adjustment line. So it looks great. Thumbs up underwater. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next dive.